Hello and welcome to this presentation. My name is Vondrasek. I'm a recent graduate of Elma College. I'm currently a student at Georgia Southern University. I got to work with all of these fine people on this project of comparing thigh cuffs for determination of limb occlusion pressure, which I'll now refer to as LOP. The background and purpose of this study, the reasoning behind this is that ischemic preconditioning and blood flow restriction are both popular techniques that are involved in various research settings and also rehabilitation and performance settings as well. Ischemic preconditioning based on the notion that if you apply occlusion to a limb prior to exercise, you can increase aerobic capacity from the vasodilatory effect. Or with blood flow restriction, you can induce muscular hypertrophy in the absence of heavy loads with limb occlusion. So the similarity between these two techniques is the cessation of blood flow. To determine this, an industry standard that is used is the Delphi automated blood pressure cuff. The Delphi system can be expensive, but also it's automated, so it makes it very easy on practitioners. So with this in mind, the purpose of the study was to determine the accuracy of that automated Delphi cuff and then also compare the Delphi cuff to other options that can be used for limb occlusion. So to do this, we compared the Delphi against the Hoka and standard cuffs. On the right, you can see the Delphi cuff used for the thigh in the upper right-hand corner. It's a tapered thigh cuff. That's a medical grade tourniquet. And then the bottom right is the actual Delphi system. This displays the pressure on the screen as the cuff is inflating, and it also is the connection from the cuff through the hose to the system. And then the top left is the Hoka, which is commonly used in the instantaneous inflation for studies like a FMD. That would be a forearm cuff, but we have the thigh, which is not tapered, and then also the sphygmomanometer just attached to a thigh cuff in the bottom left, which would be the cheapest option. To compare these, we had 23 participants come in for one visit. We simultaneously measured blood flow in the popliteal artery just behind the knee there. For the Delphi system, it was a simultaneous monitoring of blood flow and inflation. And then we assessed the cessation based on our own observation on the Doppler ultrasound, and then also when the Delphi system said that 100% occlusion was achieved. For the other cuffs, it was an inflation, kind of a stepwise approach where we inflate, check blood flow, inflate, check blood flow. So a little bit slower, but still multiple researchers checking the screen to make sure when blood flow had completely stopped. And these are inflated on the non-dominant and dominant legs, Delphi, and then Hoka, and then standard blood pressure cuff. The results here. On the left side, we can see the comparison of the Delphi against the ultrasound. So these two are not significantly different. And then on the right, there's a comparison of the LOP as determined by the ultrasound between the Delphi, Hoka, and standard blood pressure cuffs. We can see that the Delphi cuff was significantly higher than the Hoka and standard. And then the mean absolute percent differences between these cuffs. We have the Hoka and Delphi. And the Delphi and the standard, and the Delphi and ultrasound as well. And so with these findings, we can conclude that the Delphi system provided a reasonably close LOP compared to ultrasound, which we were hopeful for, and also you'd expect if you're going to pay so much for something that was supposed to be automated. There was substantial differences in LOP across the three cuffs. While occlusion can still be achieved, there doesn't seem to be an exact match or similarity between the cuffs. Then LOP with this should be assessed and confirmed separately for each cuff and each individual, as there was standard deviation there because each individual has an individualized LOP. And so with this, we see that they're not perfect match for each other, but occlusion still can be achieved. So there is a potential there to use these cuffs. Thank you.